Hi guys, how's everyone doing on this Wednesday night?
A little bit warmer Wednesday night than usual.
At least here it's warmer. We hope that is the trend everywhere
Yeah.
because it has been quite frigid here. Quite frigid.
Really
Hello,
has.
Missy. How are you?
Hey, Margie.
Hi, Margie.
You said I hope everybody's warmer. Is it warmer where you're
Mhm.
at? Hopefully that warm weather is headed east because I think she's
We're
in
supposed to
Pennsylvania,
get
right?
yeah, we're supposed to almost get to 60 degrees like next week. So we're super super happy because like the thumbnail said, we survived the Arctic vortex.
Yep.
It felt awful here for days. So a lot of the snow is melting. We are now mud farmers again. We have a cash crop coming in as we speak, which is both good and so stressful. I don't know if I want like the ice or the mud.
Yeah.
They both pose their own little hardships and challenges, but I'm glad to trade in for mud.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
definitely pick your poison. When it freezes up, of course, you got the ice, and even the mud when it freezes. There's like holes and like risk hurting your ankles.
It gets really jaggedy.
But, I don't know. The mud's awful too, especially with like coming back inside, and then the dogs want to.
Oh yeah. The dogs want to run in and out, in and out, in and out.
We got long hair dogs, so they just drag their belly hair through it.
So. Who else has dogs in the chat? Mm-hmm. Do they drive you nuts during mud season like mine do? Yeah. They drive me crazy. But we did talk about like once we have 2 indoor dogs right now. Sometimes you guys see them in the videos, sometimes you don't. So we have Django, who is our miniature Australian Shepherd, who I strangely started calling Ranger this week. So now we've just been, I was like, Ranger. And Mark's like, who's Ranger? And I'm like, I was talking to Django and I don't know why, but I just started calling him. So we've been joking and calling him Ranger all week.
And then smart dog. He already
responds and we say Ranger. He's like, I know you're talking to me. And then we have Junebug, who is our Great Pyrenees Anatolian / English Shepherd mix. They said she was mixed with the English Shepherd. She has Anatolian characteristics to me.
To be honest, though, you have a lot of animal names to keep track of. So
I do. And then so Mark said, since we're changing names for dogs, we're going to name her Sarge. And she's Sarge in charge. And we've got Ranger Danger for Django. Yeah.
That way it helps. So you add more names, it's easier to call them by the right name.
It's so much easier just to add in brand new names to the plethora of animals that we have. Oh, goodness. Hi there, Ashley from Willful Goat Farm and Home. Hi, Mama Burton. How's everyone doing tonight?
Ashley's enjoying the warmer weather with all the babies on the ground.
Yes.
So we got, when's our next set due?
9 days.
9 days away.
9 days. I gave sanitary clip to Rosie today and trimmed hooves, and I trimmed buck hooves and gave ivermectin shots and pour-ons, and they really, really hated me by the time I was done. And
you said ivermectin burns, didn't it?
It burns really bad.
So they don't like
they really have an adverse reaction to the injection. But it's funny because Stifler, who's our newer buck, just got his 3rd and last injection last night. Was kind of looking at him like, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
you know, like
I'm not getting it this
I don't
time.
have to get the ivermectin shot because I already had it. So anybody doesn't know, like Stifler is our new breeding Nigerian dwarf buck from Agape's Prize, Stiff Sniff, and he has mites.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a struggle with that this year so far.
And we've had different things this year that have never been an issue for us.
He had a foot problem too.
Well, I think the foot problem was part of the mites.
Yeah.
We had so much rain prior to the freeze that he just had an infection up in his foot. It was hot. It didn't smell bad. So I know it was like in a joint. So we had to take care of that. So, but he's been enjoying his time inside with some ladies. Because I had some girls that came into heat and I'm like, well, you know, we need to get this done, guys. So I'm going to have June kids, even though I said I will not have June kids. Hello, Ben's family. How are you?
Yeah.
How's the weather where you're at?
So it's nice having a buck on the premises or multiple. It's just
I have 5 bucks.
When
I have
Dale
too
goes
many
in
bucks.
heat, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and he was already actually in the barn because I was really worried with his feet and his hair loss with that brutal cold. I'm like, I really just don't want him out there. And then when they started going into heat, I'm like, I have a solution. We'll kill 2 birds with one stone. We'll keep him in a nice dry stall and let him heal. And we will go ahead and we will breed does that did not stick the first time around. But other than that, I mean, we've just been enjoying the weather this week.
You checked on our hives because it warmed up a bit.
Yes, the hives were awake yesterday. I'm sure they were awake today.
I was going to say.
I just didn't go out there today because I already went out yesterday. Because as soon as it got above like 45 degrees yesterday and the sun was on, I'm like, I'm going to go check. And they were hustling and bustling. We for sure have 1 dead out We might have 2.
Yep.
We might have 2 dead hives out of the 9. So
last week's raffle winner, Gracie.
Hello, Gracie.
Oh,
she chose for me to incubate some chicks for her.
I was gonna say, Ben's family, Ben's Biz said same hubby slid hay trailer into the fence today.
Oh goodness. Hopefully it didn't break your fence, and hopefully there was no livestock behind the fence. Yeah. That's even worse.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than having to go back and fix something and you're the cause of it too. We've had those happen before too. Tractors, all that stuff. Sometimes it happens. Kind of
under your breath, like,
grit your teeth and just finish the job and realize you have to go back into it. So hopefully it isn't too bad. It's a
quick fix. Yeah. Hopefully it's a quick fix. Mm-hmm. It's not uncommon to have those projects pop up on
and
the
if
farm.
You have goats, they know right away as soon as there's a hole or a broken fence, they zone in on it right away.
Is that not the truth? Mm-hmm. But so we do have the hives are alive. Yeah. We are.
Did you say one was not looking so good?
One was looking kind of iffy.
Yeah.
I wasn't completely sure, and I wasn't going to go pick up boxes or anything just yet.
That's good.
The reason I'm saying I didn't pick up boxes is usually like if you pick up a box and it's light, they're out of stores and there's probably not many bees in it. If it's heavy, they probably have stores and there's probably a good majority of the hive is in there. So I'm waiting for the next 50-degree day with no rain, which is coming up to kind of fire up the smoker and look in there and see what I'm working with. Mm-hmm. And for the dead out, I probably should have broken them down yesterday, because with this warm weather, the other hives will go in and they'll rob resources, which honestly, I'm not upset about at all. They totally can go in and rob. But for anybody that knows us, like as beekeepers, we are pretty much treatment free. I try to be as hands off and let nature do what nature is going to do with the bees. It's survival of the fittest with them. I know not everybody agrees with that. Totally fine. It's just not how I choose to do it. I don't have time to baby them.
Well, force.
Yeah, and honestly, like we have good genetics, and the mean hives have either left or I just didn't really. I'm like, I'm not giving you extra room. I'm hoping you swarm and that we get some type of different genetic that gives me a sweet queen and not a mean queen.
Yeah, and once it warms up, we also plan to add sugar to the top of the hives. That's been something that's really worked well the past few years. There was a guy that came in. Course was shopping for some goats here, and his family had a lot of hives. I think it was over 70.
He had a lot of hives.
He found an easy, quick way to feed them over the winters. Just lay down some newspaper or some type of light paper on top and pour sugar on it.
And that's kind of like doing a candy board, but unassembled.
Yeah.
So anybody that keeps bees knows that like candy boards are basically like melted down sugar that you then let dry, and it becomes like a sheet, which it does work great. Like it works as feed for them. But we found when we put in the sugar, the regular granulated sugar, that it also works as a moisture sponge. So it's not usually the cold that kills your bees. It's moisture getting into the hive, and the freeze and thaw is what kills the bees.
Especially as they generate heat in there.
Absolutely, because they're really trying to keep themselves warm. So at the end of the season, we can always tell if there was moisture, because like the sugar, if there's any left, will be like in like little rocks. But then we know if we go in and the hive is still alive and the sugar's gone, like they ran out of stores and they had to resort to the sugar for feed.
And one thing also, and this sort of leads into Gracie's question, is that's one reason we also do that method is so fast. Like we can go in there and go through all the hives in 15, maybe
I think
20
we
minutes.
did like all nine of them in 20 minutes, because it was literally pop, and I was ready with paper and he put down sugar and we closed it right back up.
I will say how time consuming is beekeeping.
It depends.
It
depends on how hands on you want to be.
There's some people that it's almost like a full-time job, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to dedicate to. Unfortunately, we're juggling a lot of things. And if we want to be honest, goats are the priority here, so they get a lot of
they get all the attention.
Attention,
if the bees,
resources.
I mean, everything. I've gone whole summers where I don't inspect them.
Yep.
If they swarm and I have boxes to catch them and give that hive that I think they swarm from room, I do it, and if not, I just let them go on. Bees, I think the fangled way that we look at things, and I'm a very utilitarian person, like it has got to have a purpose or I'm not going to put time into it. There has to be some type of like reward system for it for me to really invest. And bees, like I don't invest, but it's because humans have like this newfangled vision of like what beekeeping is and what the goal is, and they automatically think it's honey. And for me, it's not. It's to pollinate the environment and to ensure that I get a very well pollinated garden, which will feed me.
Yeah.
So if I get honey, that's great. I sell out of honey every single time that I pull it, but that is not the main goal here. We look at them as pollinators. So if they ever fail, and I put fail in air quotations because the sole purpose that nature has given bees is to pollinate. In their lifetime, they did pollinate. There is no failure if a hive fails because while they were alive, they were pollinating.
And I'll be honest, they're one of the most fascinating creatures. The way they
really
communicate and just sit and watching them, they just provide so many benefits and just having them on the farm. And Gracie, you mentioned you find it interesting, but chicken about stings. I'm actually slightly allergic to honeybee stings. Yellow jackets, I was real allergic to. I had to take shots. But they're not that scary. I mean, you can suit up. I do suit up just in case.
And then if they do get kind of crazy, usually I'm the one in the hive, and I'm like, you need to get out of here because they are starting to really get real testy. Hello, Bruce. So speaking of beekeeping, Bruce is a wonderful person to follow.
Bruce probably has no problem with bee stings. He's probably immune to them. He probably grew his own stinger.
And honestly, like, bee stings at this point, there's only been a couple where I was like, whoa, that and it's face stings, or like I actually was out watching them yesterday and I must have gotten just a little close, and they were like they were all taking their cleansing flight, so there was a ton of traffic and they were getting in my hair, and I didn't bat at them or anything, but it is a little bit frightening when you're out there with no veil and bees are like literally stuck in your hair and they're just buzzing like crazy. You're like, I just walked away for a while and just kind of put my hand like where they were, and they were crawling on my hands, and I would just put they're pretty docile. They're very docile around this. Now, if I were to get in the hive like that, they probably get a little mean.
And there are some hives that are meaner than others. We did
have one that their genetics, they just were a hot hive. No matter, and I do have one that I know as soon as I pop the hive, if I do not have smoke on them immediately, like they are immediately on my veil. And they've never gotten crazy, like while we're working around them or if we're mowing, they don't come out at that. It's just when we open up the hive. Now, if they did chase, I probably would think about taking that hive and putting it way back away and just throwing boxes on when I needed to give them room, or just let them do their own thing and let nature take its course. Let nature take its course. But I mean, bee stings don't really bother me anymore.
No. Yeah, I mean, you're much more resilient than I am.
They don't really bother me.
And by slightly allergic, I mean, I'll swell up pretty. Like if I get one in the arm, my arm will swell up quite a bit, and then I'll get a lot of redness, like lines going up. But
Bruce, I had heard that winter stings do hurt way worse. I don't know why. Do you know if there's a science behind that? Because I'm the same way. Spring and summer, I'm like, eh. But like late fall and any time in the winter, like if you're doing a quick inspection, like they do hurt. So
they really want to make you feel it in the winter. Like, hey, I'm cold.
I've kept it all in. All the aggression is pent
all the
up.
muscles are even more retracted from the cold. That stinger's really
that might be part of it. I don't know. But it just they do hurt a lot worse in the winter. That is a good point, Bruce. I was wondering if maybe I was just a wimp, but I just didn't remember what stings felt like. You actually have to click it.
Okay.
I'm going to use part of our property to plant a pollinator garden, which is also near where my vegetable garden is. My hope is they'll help They will.
Definitely.
They will.
We have a pollinator garden also up front that's continue to grow, and they've really done a great job pollinating.
The only thing I'll tell you is that if you have like farmers, like the farmer next door, he doesn't normally spray, and we do have like the planes that go over and they spray. I don't know what they're spraying.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, not super close.
They're not close enough where it's ahead of an issue. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are close to a farmer that does spray, just ask them to tell you when, so that you can make sure that you're closing them up or taking proper precautions.
Same way with some of the utilities companies as well. I know Duke.
Yeah, because they will come through and spray, and you can't help that. Sometimes they'll get residual poison and bring it back. It is what it is. It sucks. Yeah, that is when it sucks. So maybe I'll be brave enough to get a hive sometime in the future so I can harvest honey too.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, honey is awesome to have, 100%. It's great. I just don't like it when we talk to people that are like, I want a honey and just go for the amount of money it takes, like with woodware and stuff. Sometimes, like, just go support a local farmer and buy their honey.
But there's a lot of different frame types.
There are a lot of different frame types and hive types. I actually was talking to a good friend where she's like, what do you do? Have you ever done a long bar hive, like a
Mhm.
horizontal hive. And I'm like, I haven't, but I hear like for back injuries or people that maybe,
You got to be expert in there. We can
yeah.
ask
What
him.
do you do any long bar hives, Bruce?
He
I'm
probably has
sorry.
every type of hive.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
it'd be interesting
probably
to see.
not a what is that? Like
But we've
a
never
top flow
tried it.
hive.
Yeah, we've never tried it ourselves.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, I know how to take care of these hives. I'll probably never switch until like my back gives
Now,
out.
if like we didn't both work full-time jobs, maybe that would be something you could
I
think
wouldn't
of.
even then. I like would
oh,
be
you
with the
have more
goats all the
time.
time.
You might though.
I would be with
you
the
like
goats
trying
all the
different
time. I'd be
things.
making more soap and
That's
stuff.
true. That's true.
I like the
Maybe that
bees.
would
They're
be okay.
just if you want to, you have the heck at it, brother.
Yeah.
If you want to pull honey and
Like I
do all
said,
that, you go
if I could
for it.
retire early, but I'm not there yet.
You name it, I have it. Which do
Yep.
you prefer then? Which hive type do you prefer? Give me a reason why. It's essay time, Bruce. Put it in the chat.
Share your knowledge on us. Let it
Yeah.
flow. They definitely helped our gardens, I think, as well.
They did.
Our
I found
produce
that
has really thrived.
our produce thrived, but I did find that our corn did a
Mhm.
lot better. Like we had, and I know a lot of that had to do with the soil amendments that we were putting in. But I will say like a good portion of like our corn, we don't have a lot that comes through where like half the cob is pollinated. And if you don't understand what I'm saying when I say like half the cob is pollinated, like the silks that run down feed into a kernel. And if they don't get pollinated, then that kernel doesn't pop.
Yeah.
It doesn't get bigger. So if you open up like a cob of corn, and some of the kernels look like they've gotten real big and puffy and some just look flat, then that means there was probably a pollination problem.
And one thing to expand on too, I just thought about was also, she was talking about farmers nearby, but also I think you got to think about if you live in a subdivision, a lot of people spray stuff on their lawns and stuff now because dandelions and stuff like that are terrible, looking in suburbs. But out here, I mean, we have dandelions, we have a lot of clover, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like now when we walk through the yard, I mean, you almost have to wear shoes now because there's enough bees. Where when we first moved here, we didn't see.
Clover.
I mean, Joe didn't get stung at all. I mean, she ran around
and then when
barefoot all the time.
she learned.
6 or 7, she got stung for the first time walking, at least in her feet.
Yeah, it was like right between her toes, so it was a very painful place to get stung.
Yeah, I think she got stung once when she was little because of the wasps on her playset. But
I got stung through a crock. I don't know how the bee flew in the crock, in like one of the little holes.
I remember that because you were like,
I was so upset. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, because you were really pushing that stinger in when you were walking too. It got like underneath your toe.
It did. It really hurt.
Your toe swelled up.
It was big and it's so itchy. I always get stung
in
like
joints. A cartoon.
Or I'm like, I know that you
sort
can
of
do
like Dexter when he got stung in the face. Remember his
nose
he looked like Scooby-Doo.
He did look like Scooby-Doo. He was over there actually by his water because I noticed the bees were at the Buck's water trough. Yeah. He was like,
yeah,
he remembered.
He gets picky about where things are. He's been running the Bucks off the hay lately. He doesn't like when it's really cold out. Like, no, you guys should stay in the barn because it's warmer there. And it's like they want hay.
Yeah.
So you've been yelling at him off and on lately.
Oh my God, he's been driving me nuts. Everything has been, and you can tell like I have bags under my eyes. Like everything's been driving me nuts this week where I'm like, you guys have got to stop. But you have like weeks like that. So the easiest is Langstroth, and then the best for the bees is the top bar hive or the Lands. Why?
Yeah, that's
why is it best for the bees? Because that honestly for me, like that would be more of a reason to do it if it was best for them.
Is the top bar more natural style?
Maybe, I don't know. Let him answer.
I know. I'm just wondering. I like to
We've got the expert. Is he right?
Mm-hmm. What was that, Sam? He shaded in there. Hey.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
Says,
how are you doing?
How what's the weather like there? So I know he's gotten some cold weather lately, so hopefully it's warmed up.
We're warming up here, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. I haven't had to carry hot water to the barn except only to milk, which has been nice because usually like then when I'm milking and I did need to give hot water, I'd have to come in for another bucket of hot water.
Yeah, it's been cold enough. I had a big old bucket of oatmeal that like Ashley said we get from the camp kitchens. They donate the extra or expired food, and it was a bucket of oatmeal, and I dumped it in there when it was cold, and it just turned into a big block of oatmeal, and they're finally picking that today.
Which is nice because they're just getting like layers of thawed oatmeal
Yeah.
every single day as they gnaw
slowly
it
chipping
down.
away at it. It's sort of funny to watch.
So Gracie says it's been a rough week everywhere, Ashley. You should see how crazy my students have been. I've like seriously looked outside. I thought maybe there was a full moon, and like we're not even in the thick of it. Like for our busy season, it's just been like little things, like even work. Like you can ask him. Like the last couple of days, like I've been on the phone with people at work and just letting them know what my opinion is about what is. And it's not normally a nice opinion. So if I have to call and
she
tell
says
someone,
students, have you also seen a lot uptick in sickness? I know there's a school
near
here
actually
that
like
actually
Franklin
closed.
County Franklin County, their
Just
schools
south of
are
us.
e-learning today and tomorrow because of lots of illness.
I've had a bunch
Sweatshirt
of
weather,
coworkers.
yes, warm sweatshirt weather.
But
It is so nice.
The funny thing with that though is we were talking today. I don't know if it's actually like that warm, but because it was so cold, it feels like a heat wave.
Oh yeah,
You know, like
Yeah.
even in the 30s, you feel like you could go out in a t-shirt now
absolutely.
after dealing with it.
You were right because it's more like their natural cavity colonies. That
I
makes
was reading
sense.
Bruce's mind.
Bruce,
Hey,
are you guys on
Smokey,
the same wavelength?
From North Carolina.
Hi, how is North
That's a little
Carolina
warmer
doing?
down there,
Yeah,
even though they got some of the cold too.
they got some of the cold. I hope you're not in any of the affected areas from the dam washout.
Oh,
That is a big concern that I've been trying to with the winter. That has just stressed me out. Thinking people
hear
are
about people
down there
still
living
trying
out
to
of tents and
recover.
stuff.
Yeah,
with all this terrible
Just can't
weather.
Imagine that.
She says, yes, we have so many staff and students out. It's insane. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, Joe had a stomach bug. What was that?
It was
About a
around
month ago.
Christmas time. It was actually the day after Christmas.
Yeah, so we
It
had
was
that
not
go through our
good.
household. But fortunately, nothing else. A couple coworkers this week had like pretty bad flus.
Mhm.
I don't know. Have you had any coworkers get hit?
No,
It's interesting because our teams are spread out. Both of our teams are
Mhm.
spread out across
Yeah.
the country, so you can sort of hear different areas. being
Yeah, I
hit.
have coworkers in Texas, Maine, and there's some like sprinkled in Indy, and a lot of us here around in the Cincinnati area.
Yeah, mine's Washington area up northwest.
New York,
New York.
and here.
Yep, and here.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's been interesting. Oh, Smoky Week, good 70 today. Will you send some of that to us? Because we would really love to have 70 degrees.
That sounds awesome.
And sunshine and no breeze.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, strep.
Flu, strep, and stomach bugs are really now. I had a stomach issue earlier this week, so I can buy that. Hush. He's like, don't tell too much about stomach. Oh, you laughed at me. It was just one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if it's a bug, but because we're like on keto, sometimes if I eat too many carbs, which I did not do well on Sunday, my body did not adjust, and I did not feel well on Monday.
Ooh, 52 now.
52?
That sounds nice.
I am.
What did we get up to today?
I think
say
it was like in the
close to 50.
40s. We were in the 40s today.
But we do have 50s coming, so
thank goodness. High was
Whatever case
44 today.
Yep.
We were highs in the 44. Tomorrow is 44, 55 on Friday, but we're getting rain. And I'm a little worried about the rain coming in because we literally have nowhere for this rain to go. Not all the snow is gone yet, and it's been a very slow thaw, but the ground was so saturated prior because of all of the rain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we are definitely getting all the appropriate precipitation we're supposed to be getting in the wintertime. It's just been a little bit crazy. I cannot wait to get in the gardens. I can't wait for things to dry up, but this is we have to go through this every year.
Freezing thaw.
It just I don't usually get like what they saw like seasonal depression, but this year I just feel it a lot more. I don't know if it's just because like it got so intensely cold for so long and we had so much snow, and it's just we don't normally breed a lot for January anymore, but like having kids out there and milking has just been a lot more of a strain this year than normal.
Mm-hmm. Seems that they still have ice on the backside of our yard.
Oh,
yeah.
See, that's what happened here. So we got like 2 big snows, and then we had a weekend where it got pretty warm and it started to melt, and then we had that polar vortex sit on top of us for like a week and a half. So all of that thaw that was trying to go down is ice. So we have just like layers where you can all like I was out there just like busting things up. So I'm like,
and now the ice that like melted and has refrozen spots is like really slick.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like walking with buckets and trying to be careful, but it's no fun trying to.
Yeah. Hi, Patty. How are you?
We're talking about the weather, Patty. How's it out your way? Hopefully.
I know this year was the first year I took like a big fall and was like, oh, I feel so old.
Yeah.
It just hurts so bad.
So talking about busy schedules, what's something new you picked up on your plate?
Did I pick something new up on my plate?
4-H?
I told them that last
Oh,
week.
did you tell them already?
I'm
I
a
didn't.
4-H leader apparently.
Yeah. She's grown
I'm
into
helping.
that role.
I'm not the head leader. I am just an assistant for right now. So
and it looks like we may have the 4-H group come out to our house this
we
year.
do. We're actually I was trying to find a date where like I didn't have a show I wanted to go to.
Yep.
But the later we get into the season, the more people are either like going on vacations, there's summer sports, or they're actually working on their projects and they will not have time to just come hang out at the farm. So in May, we're going to have our 4-H group out. And I think it's going to be a great time because I've had homeschool groups approach me and ask if like I would have them out and what curriculum I would have on hand, which for me, I'm like, well, really, like you can tell me what you want because I can cater to whatever you want. I can talk about pretty much anything.
Also, soap classes.
I'm looking for a venue right now to hold soap classes. I'm just waiting on the place to tell me if I can or can't do it there.
Yeah. We just don't have a good spot here.
We don't have a good spot. And like literally guys, like rental fees for places nowadays are just, they're a little bit insane. They're a little bit insane. And I understand from like a liability point of view that they have to be that way. Cause they, as much as I tell people it's because like if I came out to your farm, I would never sue you. I'm like, you wouldn't, but your medical insurance, if you got hurt and you told them where you got hurt, your insurance would. And we work for insurance, so we know that's how it works.
Seen the ugly side.
Yeah, we have seen some pretty. I mean, I work primarily with public entity, which is schools, and the claims at schools are either like number one, very very scary to like, or they're just heartbreaking.
Yeah,
or weird. They're super weird.
And of course, with soap, you're messing with lye, which
we're messing with lye and hot oils,
sketchy.
and sometimes people just don't understand when I say like it's caustic and it will burn you. I'm like, no, the moment it touches your skin, it's going to feel like you have a hot poker on.
And just some people aren't used to handling something that is that harmful to them.
And then you just have to explain the chemical reaction behind it. Like the lye is what makes saponification happen, which is what makes the soap become soap.
I mean, people really don't have that insight into that anymore. I mean,
like
when we did the butchering classes, it was like working with knives was like a learning experience for law folks.
And that is a learning experience. Like, so for us, it's second nature to pick up a knife and to, break down a bird or use it to do some fine work. Whereas other people are like, they've never had to really like finesse a blade before, which I mean, that's great.
And that's also what the class is.
And that is exactly what the class is for.
But
it's super sketchy liability wise.
Yeah, I've got booked more than a few times.
Yeah, Marky was holding one and I'm thankful like the guy brought his own blade, and apparently I'm like, you will know when you need to sharpen. And Marky's like, it wasn't that sharp. I'm like, well, thank God, because it would have cut you wide open.
Yeah.
So
but like the basics of just cutting away from you and stuff, it's just they're not used to handling.
Yeah.
So
we've had some experiences. But I did teach a class for soap to a local Girl Scouts troop, and they really enjoyed it. Now they didn't care about the history of soap or the chemical like reaction or the things that I find are cool. They're like,
you have to
let me smell all the scent. I know. I'm like, I have to teach this so that you understand like where things come from. But they were all about like mixing scents. Like they were over there like little crackheads. Like with all of the scents, or like pairing them up.
In all fairness, you have some pretty cool ones.
I do have some really good scents.
Yeah.
And like they were putting things together that I was like, I never would have thought to use.
And there's
that
a broad
scent.
spectrum of them available now. Like the Fruit Loops you got. Like just anything you can imagine. I think they've put it into a scent now.
Yeah. Fruit. And it smells just like Fruit Loops. It's so trippy.
Yeah.
So trippy.
Well, it helps you also made it visually look like
so
Fruit
if you guys follow me on Facebook, Mulberry Branch Farm on Facebook, like I've been making lots of soaps, and the one lately, like he's saying, I did a Fruit Loop soap. It smells just like Fruit Loops. The base was white, and then I took the time to create different colored loops out of a mold. And when I poured in the white soap, I put them on top. It looked just like they were scent crackheads. They really were. They were over there, and they were like, oh, you gotta smell this one.
I can't help it either. Like she gets a new scent and we're walking around.
Like the two new ones I did, wasn't last night, it was the night before. I did blueberry cobbler, which I don't like blueberry, but it smells so good. And there's southern peach. Yeah. I don't like peach. I like the way that it smelled. And I did another scent that I can't remember. Oh, it was coastal rain. And I had Joe come down and smell them because I was like, you've got to tell me like if you like blueberry cobbler or not. Because people have been asking me for like lots of different food scents where I'm like, I want to smell like a flower when I walk around, not a birthday cake. So for me, that's been hard in marketing, is to like do the scents that I'm like, I hate the way this smells. But like sometimes they're like my best sellers. Yeah. I hate it the whole time. Yeah. I'm like, I don't like the way patchouli smells, but there is a lot of people that love how patchouli smells. And I'm like, yeah, my mom's like, can I have like 3 bars of this? I'm like, you can take it because I'm tired of smelling it.
You did not get that gene liking the patchouli.
Yeah, I do not like the patchouli. There are a couple of scents where I'm like, but then he brought me his beard oil this morning. He's like, okay, soap lady. Yeah. What's in it? And I didn't get one. It was a new one I got for Christmas.
So I was just trying to figure out what was in it.
I did not get 1 cent right. He's like, let's smell it and see if you can figure out what it was. He's like, then I'll look it up. And I did not get 1 cent right. It
was the concept I had right, but I didn't.
He did. He's like, it smells like a campfire, and it was like sandalwood and cedar wood and pine needles and fir needles.
It was charred cedar wood though.
Which is I'm like, okay, where did you pull that from? So. I was like, man, I smell clove in there, smell a little bit of patchouli, maybe some vanilla, and then there was like musk in it. So I'm like, maybe that's where I was getting like the vanilla-y smell from. Yeah. So I realized like I'm good at making the soap, but don't ask me to like sniff test and tell you what it is. Smoky.
But it does make you like locked in and more focused when you smell things.
It does. It's kind of like a fun. What's in it? It is kind of like a fun thing to do. So like I said, I would love to learn how to make goat milk soap. It is super fun. I was very intimidated for years.
And go back up real quick. We want to see what Patty's weather was.
Patty said, sunny and pretty nice until tomorrow night or Friday. Snow level is dropping over the weekend. Possible snow soon.
Ooh, because she's out west of us, so it's like it. Ugh. I was worried. I saw snow. That's when you're just like, get the heck out of here. And Gracie likes the flower scents.
Yeah, your flower scents are amazing. I hope you never stop making soap. I really like making soap. Like he knows when I'm having a bad day, like I either need to get on the treadmill and I need to angry run, or I need to go down and make soap. Yeah. Sometimes both in the same night.
I'm trying to talk her into moving into beard oils because, of course, I use beard oils. But
I need to kind of branch out. Yeah. And the man scents, dude, I sell out of them so fast. Yeah. I cannot keep them.
Like a big market available for
There's really not. And like I have a guy.
Cut and a shave smells pretty good.
Cut and a shave, haircut and a shave is really, really good. It's very fresh. But it's funny because like I sell at a local feed store. And the ladies that are in there, they're like, my husband like secretly, like, do you have any like man scents in the lotion? Because like his hands are cracked and he will not ask you to make like a man scent, but he really wants to use the lotion. Or they're like, he's like, he would get like the soap and he's like, he got out of the shower and he's like, feel my arm.
That works.
I was like,
it doesn't just smell good. It works.
It doesn't just smell good. It is very nourishing.
I would worry if I was walking around with like Fruit Loop beard oil.
No, I wouldn't. Dude, I'd rock around smelling like. See, now I said I don't want to smell like a birthday cake, but I would. I would walk around smelling like Fruit Loops. I have trouble with scents. Truly natural ones aren't too bad, but floors are a big no. Mostly vanilla and lavender. Yeah. We do try to make sure when people come up and they're looking, I'm like, what is your scent profile? Because like literally we have like 40 different scents that we sell and I'm always buying something new to try it to see like what people actually like. And there are a lot of people that are like that. The floral ones are a big no-no. I really push them towards like essential oils because the essential oils do not hold like that oomph over time. So like they just tend to go real mellow, real mild. Vanilla. So do you like vanilla and lavender, or is that like a no-no for you?
A couple more in the next one too. Look like patchouli, cedar, and
eucalyptus is a good one too.
That's a strong one.
Yeah. It is a really strong one. I actually like to make. So I do like the lotion bars. I've actually been using one like here while we've been talking, and I have a couple ladies that. What is this? This is cashmere. Yeah, it's cashmere. My hands smelled like a dirty goat, so why not just put some
better
lotion
than cover
on?
a buck scent like cashmere.
But the ladies at my church, there's one that she loves, the eucalyptus lotion bars.
Cash me outside.
There's my marketing.
I help with the marketing.
Right, yes, he does.
Marketing.
I won't go there because we're family friendly.
Like the name of the soaps. I mean, it's easy to come up with dad jokes with the names of them.
It is, but like sometimes because he's a dude, it goes sideways. And I was talking. Okay.
I'm trying to think of one for eucalyptus now.
Eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus.
You can like us.
There we go. See,
anyways, you are sidetracking. She loves to take the lotion bar with eucalyptus and put it on her feet at night in the wintertime and put socks on. She's like, it helps me breathe really good at night.
That's an old trick, isn't that?
Yeah.
Something they do with
Vicks. Yeah, they do a lot with Vicks. So what did Miss Patty said? I like man scents better than. You know what? Actually, like I have one. It's tobacco and bay leaf, and it's one of my favorites.
You know what's funny is I've noticed Ashley when she sells them is asking people what their scent profile is.
They get so puffed.
Yeah,
they're like
people. I mean, people like different things. It's not something you can just assume like looking at somebody that they would like. Like you'll ask somebody their scent profile, and all of a sudden they think about it, and like they'll say things you're like, I would have never thought.
Yeah, I've had some like really different people that came up and I'm like, I never would have like pegged you for liking that,
Or I love food smell.
Yeah, actually one lady, she's like, do you have just like cookies, like sugar cookie? She really loved the baked good scents, and for me, I'm like, except for Fruit Loops, but I guess they're not technically a baked good. So Smoky Weed says sandalwood and lavender are their favorites. I really like sandalwood.
Patty said, I do like lavender.
You do like lavender, vanilla. They're so mellow. They meld in with anything. I bought a soft vanilla hand soap made by one of the major brands, and it was so strong and so not vanilla.
Me and Ashley have been talking about that lately. It's like a lot of the synthetic or simulated flavors.
They are synthetic detergents. Most soaps
I mean, and just it seems like especially since she's getting more of an essential oil and direct scents, we've noticed like a lot of the store-bought stuff doesn't smell exactly like you would think it would. Like in your case, the vanilla doesn't. Also, the keto diet makes us realize that with food. They'll say, hey, it's flavored one way, the coffees or whatever.
It is crazy, like the way that your palate changes. And the way you pick up like different flavors, like holy. So like, I'm gonna get to you, Missy. I do see that you're changing the subject there, but I will say like because keto, like Chipotle bowls are like very, very filling. They're super wonderful. I can't wait to get one this week. We're going to do it. But it was funny because like I got a ton of sour cream on mine, and I took a bite and I was like, dude, there's something so sweet. And I was crunching and I'm like, that's corn. I'm like, because like the way that it felt, I'm like, that's corn, but it was so much sweeter than I remembered it ever being. It was insane.
But like the scents, like she's even bought scents from different suppliers, and like two of the same type of scents have smelled different. Yeah. But like a lot of the stuff you buy in stores, she has to go to like a more organic or a direct scent provider,
or like you find good essential oils, and then people are like, that doesn't smell like that, and I'm like, well, what you're buying at the store is not an essential oil like this. You're going to get like a benefit health wise, and this is actually what it smells like. She's gone through a couple,
and fortunately the couple have been good, and now we've been able to narrow it down by price and the availability that they provide. But you're right, Patty. It's a guessing game on some of the stuff you buy. You say it will smell one way, and it doesn't. I mean, it's funny. We went through Walmart last night, and Ashley had bought some shampoo that was on sale and stuff. And like cashier's like, the guy was. It was creepy.
He's like, "Can I smell your shampoo?"
Yeah. He's like, "I love to smell rosemary, and I want to smell it."
I was like,
he's like, "It smells good," but he wanted to see if it smelled like rosemary because I'm sure he's bought stuff before that didn't smell like it.
So awful. Yeah, that creeped me out. He was interesting. We were very nice. Buy that
shampoo and think of you now.
Make me so mad.
All right, the Hoof Boss.
So Missy said, I'm changing the subject, but I am curious if you use the Hoof Boss. I have been incredibly tempted. And the reason why is because we are running so many goats now. When I do take a day to do hooves, my hands are like
looks a little intimidating because of
and that's what I was going to say. I really want to. I think the investment is worth it from what the work I've seen that it can do.
I'd say but tentative using it.
I would be very scared.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying it wouldn't work.
No, I know it would work. It would, but
going from something that's more manual that you do to that, like,
and it's it's an electric tool that is just making a lot of noise. So like that would take a level of training for your goats. So
the shears you get now, those
I get silver lines, but you will cut your finger freaking
she's
off
cut through
if you're not
leather
careful.
Gloves. They are
actually his sister like took like the tip of her thumb off.
Yeah.
Like just, and she's like, I didn't even feel it. It was a brand new,
a brand
new
had
clipper.
bandaged up.
Yeah, it
and
was.
You've gone through leather gloves.
Yeah, like my good leather gloves, you can tell. Like I've done a lot of hoof trimming.
So
if
you're looking for shears, those are just
Silver lines they're like $30 a piece, but they are
well
worth it. They are worth it. I have been very intrigued by the Hoof Boss, but I have, and especially when you're working with young animals. I mean, I know how much the milk machine being turned on freaks out animals that are new to it. So I couldn't imagine like basically taking a grinder and turning it on. Now, it's not saying it can't be done. And if you have enough animals and you have the time to train them, you could probably zip right through, but also you're going to have to be very, very aware of like how fast those pads can take them down. It would be a great even.
Because they do have different grits. So.
They do have different grits. Now, that is something I've really thought about. Like, this is a treat yourself moment for me, but I don't know if it'll be this year. Have you used it? Are you thinking about using it?
Case in point, we've been intrigued by it, but we don't have experience with it.
I don't use it. I know what it is.
I've watched it used. The good show we went to, the big nationals today. Were they there? I just wonder if they're
there. And then there are some clippers that are from France that Sandy Brock from Sheepishly Me uses, and it's like you don't have to apply pressure. It reads how fast you're doing it, and the clippers are electric. So like they're like hoof trimmers, but they're pressure sensitive. So they're run completely by mechanical gear, but they're sensitive enough to know that you're taking a slow snip and that you can stop, and it's not going to go when you didn't really want it to go. So those, I'll have to look those up because like I've been watching her. She's like my hand, and she runs way more animals than I do. But if I take a day to just do hooves, like we're looking at 50 animals, my hands will be crippled by the next day. Like they really will. Tobias says, it took me 2 days to get rid of the liquid hand soap chemical since, and they do stick with you. Like, and then they really make it
extra strong where it's overwhelming. Yeah.
Absolutely. Have you ever tried Gardenia Smell? I really want to. I just find people tend for me, like they like
floral.
It is floral and it is heavenly. When I was buying like soap, Gardenia is the way to go. It is just like a very nice light floral scent. It's strong. It's strong enough for you to be like, this is Gardenia, but it's like not overpowering where like someone's gonna be like, oh, French whorehouse. You smell like you're trying to hide something, you know? Like I like the way, that was a bad way of putting it, but I do like the way Gardenia smells. If it says natural scents or other scents in soaps or lotions, walk away. Yes. Now, hi, Stitching Up from Texas.
Hello.
Are you getting any of the cold? I know you guys got snow here lately.
The one dog in the picture looks like
I know, like
it looks like Dexter.
Pretty dogs. Tell us about your weather. It's the way we always what's the weather like there? Because right now it's cold here still, but warmer than it was.
They're next to the big round bales. So.
So Missy said, I bought it a year ago and it looks amazing. I just haven't tried it yet. I would maybe start with, and this is just me, get your animals used to that while you're hoof trimming. Like if you could put it like someplace where you could turn it on while you're just doing your normal hoof trimming, that might be a good way for them to get used to like the sound and to not jerk.
Is the sound close to trimmers? Have you heard it?
It sounds like a grinder.
But your grinder is much more aggressive.
It sounds, the one I heard was a grinder, unless I heard one that was not running.
It makes sense.
Running well.
I mean, I use a metal grinder.
It's got literally the disc on it. Yeah. It is loud. I would break them into the sound first because the sound's going to wig them out way more.
Try it on one of your calmer goats.
Yeah.
We've got a couple. I wouldn't try that off.
Yeah. Well, like my young goats, like if I am training them to be like to go to the stand and to be hoof trimmed, I wouldn't start with that. I would start with just like regular trimmers.
Squeakers. You could do anything to her, she wouldn't mind.
Yeah, because someone's made her a terrible brat.
She literally will come up to the fence and not let me pet her unless I go open the gate.
She just looks at me.
Turns her head.
At least she gives you attention. I walk up, she just like turns away. He walks up, yeah, and just looks at him, and he won't
get far enough away where I can't.
And she won't. You'll see her back up until he lets the snot out. I'm like, no, you need to make it to where let me pet you first, and then I'll let you out. So she comes up.
Can't believe she's got that attitude.
Okay. No, I'm not going to say anything. Yes, thank you, Stitching Up. Give us thumbs up if you like it. If not, you can give us a thumbs down because all engagement is good engagement on YouTube.
True.
When people give me like negative comments, I'm like, cool. I get paid for that comment. Go for it. What do you use for chemical and dairy-free lotion? My hands are so bad. So
our own.
Yeah. To use for chemical, but he's talking and dairy-free.
I know.
So if you're not going to be using dairy, there is a component of liquid that has to be in there. So you could use cucumber water. You could use
does coconut work?
Coconut water would be, as long as it's sanitary. I know, like, I have to use, oh God, what is it called? I have to use
of like beard oils and stuff like that are natural that don't have.
Now, because you don't have dairy in it, you wouldn't have to use like a preservative. Yeah. Because I use dairy in mine, I have to use a preservative like Optifin,
oil or whatever.
Jojoba oil, cocoa butter.
Yeah,
shea butter is shea butter, dude. Is like the real deal. Coconut oil sometimes can dry you out. It's nourishing, but it can sometimes dry you out. So they call it jojoba or jojoba. Then there's cacao butter. There's cocoa butter. There's sunflower oil. There's avocado oil. There's almond oil. I mean, you really can play around with just about any type of, as long as your liquids to your oils, and you can adjust that too. Like I use,
now just wondering from the dairy-free aspect, I mean, I've heard of people being lactose intolerant. Does that affect your skin as well?
The proteins in it possibly could, but I will say, like, even for the lotion, it's not raw dairy. So I do have to pasteurize the milk in order to put it in lotion. And for the lotion bars, I freeze dry the milk. So it's distilled water. If you didn't want to go fancy at all, you could do distilled water, because you don't want to introduce any type of bacteria into your lotion where there could be spoilage. You're going to be a lot less likely to get spoilage if it's dairy free, because like you don't have like that dairy, just it wants to separate. Like when we do take lotions to shows that are outside, I cannot put them in the sun. It does not matter how cold it is. I cannot put them in the sun. It will cause it to separate no matter how much I've done to make sure that we've got it nice and blended in with like emulsifying waxes. You can use beeswax in there, emulsifying wax. I mean, there are Ellen Ruth. If you really want to find like good moisturizing lotions, because sometimes when I need to find a base recipe that I want to play with, I go to Ellen Ruth's, I think it's Bath and Soap on YouTube. She's wonderful. And she shares her recipes. So if you see something that you like, you don't have to guess. Like she's going to show you how she does it, and she's going to put her recipe down in the description, which is so rare. No. Lots of people do not want to share their recipes, especially if they're selling and marketing. So that's a really good one that I would go to.
Catch up on some comments.
Sorry, you got me. You got me. I have it. I'm getting ready.
Well, let us know how it works.
Yes, Missy, let me know how it works, and if you had any tips or tricks.
Said up there they have someone at the show that prefers this Dremel over the Hoof Boss. I would prefer the Dremel.
I have heard of people using the Dremel, especially for like precision. Yeah, where like that whole pad, because you do have some like that just they might not just have like the bestest of those, which. If you're in the show world, so you know, like sometimes feet and hooves are something that you look out for calling. I actually have a couple where I'm like, you're pretty good, but there are others that are just as good, but you have worse feet.
Dremels have a lot of flexibility too, which helps.
Where was that at? Okay.
Stitching Up said not cold, but raining.
Okay, okay.
At least it's warming up.
Okay, connected to you. Lard is good for the hands. Yes. And I use actually my original soap recipe called for palm oil, and lard has the exact same
the tallow.
Lard and tallow have like the exact same benefits as palm oil, and I don't have to worry about ethically sourcing it, and it's already a byproduct of an animal that was going to go to slaughter, so I might as well use the lard. Yeah. And I actually like the way the lard works, but if you are a soap maker, lard takes a higher temperature to actually get it to a liquid form, so it heats up your oils. So if you're real finicky about your soaping temperature, or you're going to be adding in like an essential oil or fragrance oil that's going to accelerate your batter, you might want to make sure that you bring your oil down to like a nice low temperature. And that's kind of hard with lard because it does take a higher temperature to get it completely fluid. No almonds. Okay, then no almonds.
And he said yes underneath. I think that was when we were asking if the dairy affected. Like
Yeah,
the skin.
that's what I'd figured there. And your skin is the biggest organ of your body. So like, it does matter what you put on it.
Ashley even has some sense that, or even some soap bars that she has to be careful of saying, hey, it may be more aggressive on your skin, especially like when you add the poppy seeds. I know those can be like almost
poppy seeds can be like
heavy. It's
and some people like I don't feel clean unless I feel like something is just scraping me.
You do that with coffee grounds too.
Coffee grounds are real good. If I really want to put something gentle, then it's like lemon zest, dried lemon zest, or oatmeal that's been finely ground.
Did they told you when you were doing your class, like cinnamon and stuff?
Oh, God. Could you imagine? They're like, now, if you're going to do like cinnamon,
pepper spray,
like you might want to go like a little light on that, because people tend to put soap in places they don't really realize like how delicate and sensitive the skin is. And I was like, light yourself on fire, putting cinnamon in a soap. But some people like, they like rash. That. Yeah, you call road rash. All right. Brighten you buck red, man. I'm telling you what.
And not probably the parts you want.
And people just don't get that.
See it as easily, but man, you'd feel it. That's God,
there was someone who had a recommendation, and I can't even remember what it was. It was so out there. And I was like, do you really want that on your skin? Like, I had to go through like, now, like one of the common properties of that is like burning and irritation. So I don't know if you want that in a soap.
My mom's in here and probably can relate to the story because she's told it before, but our church uses anointing oil once in a while. And there was someone that decided to scent it with some cinnamon to make it smell good. And boy, people were feeling the power.
They're like, woo, it's burning me. Cinnamon in that oil, girl. Sorry.
You can feel it burn now.
Sorry. Oh God, it was killing me. She said, I'm glad you are back. You both know your business and are kind. Thank you. Thank you.
You know you're so
we try to know our business. Like when we talk on here, you can tell when there are things that like we are really passionate about. And there are other like I like my bees, but am I passionate?
That's why we got Bruce around.
That's why we got Bruce.
Yeah. But
that's why we got Bruce.
Yeah, there's definitely spots where if we have our expertise in, and if we don't know it, we're not gonna. So
something Mark has been working on a lot. I know we don't ever talk about Mark's hobbies. Look at him. Look at me. All of a sudden he's at a loss for words. He's been working on precision shooting. So before we got on, he was actually had like his target paper. It was going through and like measuring like where every bullet went through.
Yeah.
And that's he is like into that. He talks to me about some things.
Gives me my escape.
It does. And you can tell, like, he'll talk to me about guns. Like, I'll talk to him about goats, and my eyes just glass.
One nice thing is they can relate, of course, to homestead, as people know, hunting, predator
protection, yes.
So everything's ready to go in her sense, but that is my area. I like to sort of lose myself. So
Sam, you've got lots of allergies going on there.
Ooh, can't use
that's hard. Eggs, chemical. So, like, then for you, like, I would really say, like, the most you can stay to natural, then, like, how about olive oil? How do you react? Castor oil?
Some of the butters you said, like shea butter.
Some of the shea butter and cocoa butter. They're nice. And those are really what you use if you like a thicker.
Which one do I use in my coffee?
Lotion?
Do I use the coconut
butter?
Coconut
oil. Yeah, not butter.
Well, you can use the cocoa butter too, though, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
I have cocoa butter.
Yeah.
It's a very hard, very, very hard substance. Poppy seeds are, yes, they are the base of morphine and it will kill you. So we would never put poppy seeds in for you. See, and this is what, okay, so you're bringing up something that I'm super passionate about.
I didn't realize that.
Did you, yeah, poppy seeds are the base for morphine. Don't want to tell too many people about that in the soap, I guess.
No, I know.
But but if they're in the soap, they're going through a saponification process and it probably destroys a lot of their benefits.
They're rough though.
They are. You don't like them? Dude, I freaking love them.
I have more sensitive skin than I realize, I guess.
What are you using?
My hands are calloused, but not the rest
I know.
of it. Not the rest of it.
But anyways, I have noticed that I have soap makers that are popping up like in my area and they're brand new to it. And they are just like marketing. Like they're trying to go into wholesale. They're trying to market. And it drives me nuts because I'm like, you have got to be so careful, because I'm like, we'd ask, I'm like, are you labeling what you're selling or like keeping a really good track of what's in it? Well, no, I mean, like, I'm just selling to like friends and family. And I'm like, like you can't do that. Like there's specific insurance for, soapers,
soap makers guilds,
because like we it is a special type of exposure insurance wise.
And it's not just because of the soap itself. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's been lawsuits where somebody slips in the shower on your soap,
Mm-hmm.
and that's suddenly a problem.
Yeah. So I have one that she's young and she's super into it and she really wants to like make money from her homestead. But I'm like, this is a perfect way for you to get pulled into a lawsuit and lose every bit. You're not LLC'd, you have no insurance, there's no protection to your personal assets. It's all running together. Like you really need to protect yourself. And it's so hard because you come across like,
well, also as you're doing it as a hobby, you're like, I'm not making.
And it's a hobby, it's fine. Then you gift it. You don't go. You don't put it for sale or say I'm looking for a wholesaler. Because I was like, well, how long have you been using this recipe? And I just started making it. You haven't even tested this long enough to know that it's a good recipe. So for me, I find it bothersome. And it's not like that. I feel a lot of
subject.
Yes, you were. Your family and all of my friends were because like you couldn't get me. Isn't that awful to say it? You can't get me because it's a gift. I've gifted.
You're sitting there looking at me. Are you breaking out in a rash yet?
I did watch. I did. And I tell people now, like the ladies at church are my lab rats. And they know it. I'm like, I've got something new and I want you to try it. And I want you to give me honest feedback. If you break out, if you hate it, if it's too liquidy, if it's too thick, like I want to know, like, what do you like? You know,
but you've also gotten a good feel on things.
I have gotten a really good feel, but like it just drives me nuts because I'm like, I want everyone to be so successful on their homestead and to be able to turn like their hobbies into passions that can feed and sustain them. But it's just that overwhelming like anticipation to succeed. And I'm like, you've got to make sure that you are going about this the right way because this is a wonderful way to get stuck and to get hung out to dry. Mark's like
Sam said, or Gracie said she agrees with Missy. Really enjoys watching your videos.
Oh, thanks. I've been trying to make sure to like kind of get caught up. I'm almost caught up. You guys are almost current.
No, that's what
I have not been current in like
we're more inside more than usual. So,
but it's ridiculous. Like I go in the last 2 years, like I've not posted anything like that is super like current and up to date. Goodness, Gracie, you know, I posted about like the July chicken class. I think it was like in December or November that I posted that video. We just get really behind. So like I am really trying to make it a point to stay as up to date as I can. And, you know, like my sister-in-law, she's wonderful. She does like her lives in her barns. And I've started thinking about toying with that a little bit. Cause I'm like, you know, that is a great way to kind of do things and people to see like in real time. But I'm like, there would be a time where I could go and do something terrible. Or I'm like, what are you doing? Like
catch you in your worst moment.
Yeah, they would catch me in my worst moment. And I mean, everybody has a worst
reality
moment.
TV.
It would be reality TV.
So Sam said yes, no. What I can't remember what the ones because we were talking about
different
cocoa
oils
butter
and things that you could.
You were saying,
so I said olive oil, tallow, lard, and olive oil. So I'm guessing the olive oil is the no. The olive oil, yes on coconut. So then you could do that.
There you go.
You could do that, and then distilled water would be your liquid
but the
for
coconut,
lotion.
You said you have to be careful it'll dry out, right?
It could dry you out. It could a little bit, but if you're gonna pair it with like lard, you should be okay. If you're going to pair it with like shea butter, you'll probably be okay. It's when people are like, I want just coconut. And I'm like, even though coconut can be nourishing for your skin, it can dry you out a little bit. I can't remember if it's because it's high in lauric acid or not.
Patty said a sense of God. I can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
The poppy seeds make me.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. That's good. You're marketing the newbies, Ashley. People don't realize the dangers and ways. Yeah, I'm what?
Alerting the newbies.
I am okay.
She's talking about when you were talking about the
alerting the dangers and ways they are making themselves vulnerable if someone gets injured.
Yeah.
And people
even
get butthurt though because
stuff.
They do. They're like, is it because I'm in competition? And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm like, I make artisans. They're beautiful. Like I make really
pretty soaps. Yeah.
I make really beautiful soaps. Like I'm really proud of what I do. I'm like, I don't feel competition.
But a lot of the homesteading conferences are on this type of stuff where it's not just learning new things, but how to protect yourself because lawsuits are a thing. And even you recently heard of a homestead conference that had issues with speakers and there was a lawsuit from the speakers against the person setting it up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even in that aspect.
Yeah.
So you don't want to lose everything.
It's hard though, because like when you come from homesteading, you have people that are like, yeah, you're trying to make money, but at the same time, like you have people that are like, and I wear my tinfoil hat as much as the next person. I dislike the government as much. I don't care who's in charge. Like I want my food freedom and I want it now. I don't want to have to ask like, where can I buy it? And how can I legally buy it? If I want to buy it and I'm aware of the risk, then that is my freedom as an American to buy my food however I freaking want it.
Unfortunately, the legal system gets abused in many ways.
It does get abused.
But that's something that actually both of us have heard a lot through our insurance company is they've actually quit writing in states because the legal system is just so abused. Anytime there's any little fender bender, suddenly there's a legal system.
That is why, like with the homesteading, what I was getting at is like, I hate the government in stipulations as much as the next person, but sometimes to play ball, like you have got to follow the rules. And I have my pet quality milk consumption license because selling raw milk in Indiana is illegal any other way. Even herd sharing sometimes for insurance purposes makes it more difficult for you to get insurance. Honestly, I couldn't get a insurance policy through Indiana Farm Bureau because I sold raw milk. They got on my Facebook page and were like, oh no, you sell raw milk. We will not. Like, I'm licensed through the state. Like I submit for testing. I pay the fee. It does not matter. You selling raw milk. You cannot guarantee that the people are not drinking it.
Yeah. But like the Soap Makers Guild, they've come together and they've offered a reasonable insurance
like
plan
a membership along with insurance.
So it's like people find ways to work together in that. And it's not hard to find them. And then on top of that, they've actually opened it up where they have a marketplace to offer your products. Like they also use it as a benefit in other ways. So it's not like it's a, just a, hey, you've got to pay this, and it's just an unfortunate consequence. They've made it more beneficial in many ways.
It's sad. And like
it's a reality though.
It is a reality. And I know some people like, I sell them the bag. The meat inside of it is a gift. And I'm like, you cannot say that on the stage to people. Like you can't say that publicly. Like it could be like something because like even for me, if people, a lot of the things I do are like through Facebook Marketplace and the phone is rampant. Like this is in my face pretty much all the time, communication wise. And I have to tell them nothing in writing. I don't want to hear it. I don't want you to say it around my phone. Like I do not want to know. You tell me how much your cat or your dog love it. And you can, whoever cat and dog is up for debate. You cannot tell me what you're using the milk for.
Sam unfortunately said no on Shea Butter because that's a really good one. Oh, that stinks.
I am so sorry that you've got a lot of sensitivities
Sam,
there.
Man,
it makes me want to do a little research though, Sam. It really does. I'm sure there is something out there. No dairy. You've intrigued me.
Yeah.
I like challenges.
There's a couple more too.
I like challenges. Oh,
Leanne said hi from Florida.
Hi from Florida. How are you?
I'm sure it's warmer down there, even though they had a cold spell.
Oh, thanks, Leanne. I appreciate that. I'm trying to get you guys caught up so you can actually experience life with me and not months after the fact.
Ashley said she'd love to hang out on them.
I know. You're being so inspiring with all your baby goats. I know. So that's a plug for Miss Ashley. Ashley is his sister. Yep. That is the Willful Goat Farm and Home. She has goats too, so she does have a channel.
And she's in the bathtub.
Yeah, and she's in the bathtub with the goats here on the screen. She does go live pretty much every single day, and she has baby goats right now.
So many times, multiple
times a day sometimes. And it is so much fun to watch and to be a part of. So if you guys are ever looking for something, like go over to her channel, subscribe, follow her. She does a lot with goats too, and she goes live with her babies.
Yep.
And it holds me over for the next 9 days while I'm waiting for my next baby.
My Ashley, the chance to talk more about goats, which she loves.
Yes, it is nice. It is nice. Oh, Sam, I just feel so bad that you've got such sensitive skin. It makes it very
hard.
You
could find out around because you might have customers that would that would appeal to if you find some solutions there for sure.
Yeah, but even did you know it's not like federally, like I don't have to put any label on my soap at all. Like I do not have to say like what is in a soap. Lotion you do because it's long contact. So like it has the ability to affect somebody more so than a soap does.
Yeah.
But for soap, per federal guidelines, like unless I'm making a medical claim, like I really am not obligated to have a label on there. But it doesn't mean that if something happens, they're not going to come for you and say you need to pay up because somebody like had a bad reaction with your soap. And that's even why, like on my labels, I put like on the back, what do I say? I'm like, if this causes irritation, please cease using it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's at least on the label saying, if this starts to cause an irritation, stop using the bar.
Sadly, that's why we have disclaimers on everything now. Don't drink the motor oil or something goofy when you buy a car.
I had that on there, and someone's like, do you really have to put this on the label? I'm like, I absolutely have to put that on the label. Well, federally I don't, but to keep a big cover your butt, you have to, because like it's the same like with having to put that coffee is hot on the cup now. It's contents are hot, you know, to cover their butts to be legal.
And I look at that, I'm like, thank goodness I don't want that. Sam said,
unless it's an iced coffee.
Yeah, Sam said, I know that. I used to get my soap from Texas. No, don't eat the soap.
Don't eat the soap.
That Fruit Loop one's gonna be tough. It looks like cereal milk and Fruit Loops.
When I first started posting, people were asking how much for your fudge. I'm like, no, this is soap. I'm like, you can try to eat it, but it's not going to taste good.
Also, it's like a compliment. How well
it is a compliment. Yeah. Like I really do. I love making my soap.
It's dual purpose. You can eat it in the shower while you're lathering up.
Flavored soap.
Yeah, chocolate.
We could try that.
No. I don't know.
The lie, though, and it wouldn't. The younger generation are worse than our.
Yes, you're not wrong.
Smoke. And it is always someone else's fault.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but
we're hit. Yeah, we hit our hour mark.
Yeah, and we're going to try to do these more consistent, so we don't want to.
We don't want to overkill you guys.
Yep.
Getting all passionate about soap. Even though like I could talk like
goats and soaps.
And I will start making videos probably on the soap making. I'm just trying to like, I have a new workspace downstairs. I'm trying to.
It's mesmerizing to watch.
It is super fun. Yeah, it is super. And the cutting it open like the next day.
You have a nice workspace now. That's something you did work out.
I have to work on the lighting in that room though, because like the lighting for
our laundry room,
so videoing is just like it's junk. It is total junk.
We'll get there.
We will get there.
Yep.
And you guys will start seeing that. Who knows? Maybe I'll start another channel. I've been feeling like starting another channel here.
Thank you.
I don't know. The attorneys love getting money when suing the stupid client.
Yep. They get the money too. That's what they're driving.
That's how most people make their money. That's how they pay their mortgage nowadays anymore. Don't want us to get off. Yes. Yes. Soap videos. It's fun. It is super fun. So I will start to possibly start filming that. It depends. Baby goats are soap, guys. Baby goats are going to win, I think, but I will start mixing some of the soap stuff in there, at least if not long format, then shorts, so that you guys can see like the making and designing and then the cut. So
put the baby goats in your soap room while they're running around. You're making soap.
That's unsanitary.
I know. But you could have both of them knocked out.
There you go. We'll give you guys the best of both worlds. But guys, I think that is going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with us. We appreciate each and every one of you coming in and contributing to the conversation. I'm hoping to have another video out tomorrow or Friday. So just stay tuned. If it's not out then look for Monday.
Yep. God bless. Right. Yep. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah. You guys all be kind to one another out there and stay healthy. Bye, y'all.
There you go.
End it. Oh, I'm worse at this than you are. What is this? There, it doesn't want us to end, guys.